Welcome to part 1 of the Romance Novel Blueprint, a free 4-part series from the Romance Writers Club. This video is about something most romance writing advice completely skips over: why your novel keeps breaking down before you get to the good part, and exactly what you can do about it before you write a single word. I'm not going to tell you to write more or try harder. I'm going to show you the structural reason this keeps happening, and the fix is simpler than you think. Let's get into it. If you've been here before, you know exactly what this feels like. You open a new document, you've got a premise you're excited about, a meet-cute you love, 2 characters with actual chemistry. You write the first few chapters, and honestly, it's going well. Then something happens. The energy fades. You write a scene that feels like it goes nowhere. Then another. You start avoiding your manuscript. You tell yourself you'll come back to it tomorrow. And then, one day, you open a new document and start something fresh, because this one is broken. It's not broken, and it's not a discipline problem, and it's not a creativity problem. It has a specific, fixable cause. If this is you, you're in exactly the right place. There's a pattern in unfinished manuscripts that writing researchers and book coaches have noticed for years. It's sometimes called the 30% problem, and the name tells you exactly what it is. Most romance novels that get abandoned at around 30% of the total word count. Not at chapter 1, not halfway through, specifically around 15 to 20,000 words into a 50,000-word novel. Here's why this happens. The opening of any story has natural momentum. You're meeting your characters, setting up the world, writing the meet-cute. There's novelty, there's excitement. That energy carries you. But around 30%, that opening energy runs out. And if you don't know where the story is going next, the manuscript stalls. You write a scene that doesn't move anything forward, then another. Then you start dreading opening the document. Then you start a new one. The writers who consistently finish aren't more disciplined than you. They just know what happens at 30%. They know what happens at 50%. They built the road before they started driving. That's the whole game. Here's the reframe I want you to sit with. Outlining is not a creativity cage. It's a GPS. When you use GPS on a road trip, you're not locked into a route. You can still take a detour. You can still pull over somewhere unexpected. You can still discover a place you didn't know existed. But you're not going to accidentally end up in the wrong state and run out of gas wondering how you got there. A good outline does the same thing. It tells you where the major beats are, what needs to happen, and roughly when. It does not tell you how to write your scenes, what your characters will say, or how the magic of your story will unfold. That's still entirely yours. Without an outline, you write scenes that go nowhere. Momentum dies at 30%, and eventually months of work get abandoned. With a good outline, you know what every key beat is. You can still be surprised by your characters and your dialogue, and most importantly, you actually finish. The outline is the destination. Everything else, the voice, the chemistry, the dialogue, the magic, that's still yours to discover. Now here's where most generic writing advice fails romance authors. Most plotting frameworks, the hero's journey, the 3-act structure, the save the cat beat sheet, were designed with external plot-driven stories in mind. Thrillers, action, adventure. Stories where the main engine is something happening out in the world. Romance is structurally different. In a romance novel, the primary story is the relationship. Every external event, every job complication, every family drama, every rival who shows up exists to serve the emotional arc between your 2 leads. That means your story needs specific beats that other genres simply don't care about. The meet-cute, which isn't just a cute first encounter, it's where you plant the central romantic conflict. Why can't they just be together? That question starts here. The midpoint shift, something that changes everything at exactly the halfway point. A first kiss that can't be taken back. A secret that reframes the whole story. The narrative pivots here and cannot return to what it was before. The black moment, the point at around 75% where all seems lost. The relationship appears completely doomed. This is the hardest scene to write and the most important one to plan. And the HEA, the happily ever after. This is not just a nice ending. It's a promise you make to your reader on page 1, and it has to be earned, not handed out. These are not optional extras. These are the load-bearing walls of your romance novel. If any of them are missing or misplaced, even if your writing is beautiful, the structure wobbles. I know what some of you are thinking right now, but I'm a pantser. I've tried outlining. It kills my creativity. I lose interest in the story the moment I know what happens. I hear you. And I want to offer a different frame, because I genuinely believe that pantsers don't hate outlining. Pantsers hate bad outlining. Bad outlining is the kind that tells you exactly what your character says in every scene, maps every plot beat to a specific word count, and leaves no room for discovery or surprise. That kind of outlining is creativity killing. I agree. But that's not what we're talking about. A good romance outline tells you 3 things: what the major structural beats are, roughly where they fall in the story, and what the emotional purpose of each one is. That's it. It does not tell you how to write any of it. You can still discover your dialogue. You can still be surprised by where a scene goes. You can still let a character take over a chapter. You can still take detours. What you won't do is discover at 60,000 words that your black moment doesn't work and have to tear the whole back half of your book apart. Your outline is the destination. How you get there, every scene, every line, every moment of chemistry, is still entirely, completely yours. All right, here's the homework. 7 beats. Every romance novel needs all of them, regardless of subgenre, trope, or heat level. Beat 1, the ordinary world. This is where we meet your protagonist before everything changes. We understand what they want on the surface. We also get a glimpse, just a glimpse, of what they actually need underneath that. These are not the same thing, and that gap is what your whole story is about. Beat 2, the meet cute, or what we sometimes call the inciting incident. The love interest enters the picture. This moment isn't just charming. This is where you plant the central romantic conflict. Why can't they simply be together? That question needs to be alive in this scene. Beat 3, the commitment point. This lands at around 25% of your novel, the end of what we call Act 1. Something forces your leads into each other's orbit in a way they cannot escape. Whether they want to be there or not, this story is now happening. There's no going back to avoiding each other. Beat 4, the midpoint shift. Exactly halfway through your novel, something has to change dramatically. A first kiss that makes everything different. A secret revealed that reframes the entire story. A false victory that immediately gets more complicated. After this point, the story cannot go back to what it was before, and that's the test of a real midpoint. We'll cover beats 5 through 7 on the next slide. Continuing with the final 3 beats. Beat 5, complications escalate. This covers the stretch from 50% to about 75% of your novel. The relationship is deepening. Your characters are getting closer, more vulnerable, more invested. And at the same time, the obstacles are mounting. This is where your characters' wounds and fears come to the surface. Their self-sabotage starts. The things they've been avoiding are now unavoidable. Beat 6, the black moment. This is the most important scene in your romance novel, and the one most writers get wrong. It lands at around 75%. This is the moment where all seems lost. The relationship appears completely, devastatingly doomed. Not just difficult, doomed. The key is that it has to feel completely unsolvable from where your characters are standing in that moment. We're going to go much deeper on this in part 4 of the series. Beat 7, the climax and HEA. Your characters fight for the relationship. They do something brave. They grow into people capable of being loved the way they need to be loved. The external conflict resolves through internal change, and your readers get the emotional payoff that you promised them on page 1. Here's your action step. and it's simple. Before you write anything else, write one sentence for each of these 7 beats. Just one sentence each. That's it. 7 sentences. This alone will prevent most abandoned manuscripts, because you'll know where you're going before you start driving. Before you do anything else, before you watch part 2, before you open your manuscript, before you do anything, I want you to do this one thing. Open a blank document. Write 7 sentences, one for each beat we just covered. Sentence 1, your protagonist's ordinary world and what they want. Sentence 2, how the love interest enters and what conflict that creates. Sentence 3, what forces them together at the end of Act 1. Sentence 4, what your midpoint shift is. Sentence 5, how complications escalate through Act 2. Sentence 6, what your black moment is. Sentence 7, how the story resolves into the HEA. 7 sentences. That's the whole exercise. You don't have to have it perfect. You don't have to have every detail figured out. You just need a sentence, even a vague one, for each beat. When you're done, you will have more of an outline than most writers ever start with, and you'll have a skeleton you can build on through the rest of this series. Go do it now. I'll be here when you get back. That's part 1, the foundation. You now understand why romance novels stall at 30%, why outlining is a GPS and not a cage, and what the 7 beats are that every romance novel needs to hit. In part 2, we're going deep on the part most romance writers rush: characters and chemistry. I'm going to show you why attraction and chemistry are not the same thing, what actually creates the push-pull dynamic that keeps readers hooked, and how to build it into your story from the outline stage so it's never accidental. If you want to follow along with actual worksheets while you watch the series, I have a complete toolkit that goes with everything we're covering. It's called Outline Your Romance Novel in 7 Days. It's 225 pages, 15 printable worksheets, and a 75-page trope guide, and it covers the entire 7-day outlining process we're walking through across this series. It's $19.99, and the link is in the description. But everything in these 4 videos is free and completely usable on its own. Subscribe so you don't miss part 2, and drop a comment below. Are you a plotter, a pantser, or somewhere in between? I genuinely read every single one. See you in part 2.